Unboxing time. So right here guys, what I've got is an order from Basspro that I recently submitted. I've ordered all this stuff mostly because the spring season is upon us. The weather is about to pick up in the next couple of weeks, maybe as we get a bit more into April, mid to late April. So I figured I really did need a bit of an arsenal with that good weather in mind. So I ordered a bunch of stuff from Basspro. You can probably tell that the box is already open. Now if that defeats the purpose of the video, then so be it, but there's a reason I had to open this, because I really needed to check the contents. Long story short, USPS gave me the wrong delivery date. They told me it was delivered on the 29th. It wasn't. It ended up being delivered on the 31st. In the meantime, on the 30th, I contacted Basspro. I told them, hey, listen, my package hasn't arrived. It says on the tracking information that it's here. It's not. Can you help me out? And they did. They basically reordered everything, and they were really accommodating and charming and pleasant. And I really can't rave any more about Basspro's customer service. They seem like they're really on the ball in that respect. So kudos, Basspro. Only problem is on the afternoon of the 31st, I came home and this was on my porch. So I had to call Basspro and I had to tell them, listen, you've reordered everything, but it looks like USPS just delivered my package 2 days later than they said they were going to. So, having checked everything in here and making sure everything is in here, I told them to cancel this reorder. Unfortunately, it was already on the delivery truck, so what I'm going to have to do is, they've actually been, again, they've been so accommodating. They've given me a mailing label. Prepaid mailing label. So as soon as that package comes, I'm just going to send that straight back to Basspro, because and I know some of you will think, oh, you're fucking stupid, you could just double up, but no, that to me feels like theft and stealing. I don't blame Basspro for any of this. USPS made the mistake. The fault lies with them. So yeah, to me it would feel like stealing. So I'm sending that package back, and that's it. On to the unboxing. Let's just go through everything I have. I have the order in front of me right here. A lot of stuff in here. So anyway, yeah, my first thing I'll pull out is I got these flukes from Zoom. I got 2 packets of them. I think they're great little swim baits from everything I've heard about them. I've never used them before. I've got them in the pearl white, in case you're wondering. I've heard great things about them, and I really wanted a cheap, effective swim bait for the spring season, so I figured I'd pick up 2 packs of them. They were like I think they were like, how much were they? Yeah, they were $2.62, which, I mean, I don't know how much they normally are. I think they're normally about maybe $3, $4, $5 per pack. I mean, depends what kind of time you're buying them. I mean, when the season is in full swing, I imagine the prices go up a little bit. But yeah, anyway, I got 2 packs of those, so I'm happy with that. Like a pretty good supply of swim bait. Next thing I got, again Zoom, I got these Super Chunk Juniors in black. I've used the green pumpkin ones on my jigs and I love them. I'm going to partner these up with some black jigs that are in this box, and I'm also maybe going to put them on chatterbaits as well. I'm not sure about that. I might just stick with jigs with these trailers, but I like the ones in green pumpkin, and they've served me well. So these I've never used before. I think these are Basspro's own brand. They apparently have pretty good reviews. They're the Swimming Elite Chunks. I got them in green pumpkin, and I got them in black blue flake. Now again, I'm thinking maybe using them with the chatterbaits, or using them with the jigs. I have very little, I'm not very familiar with these trailers. I know they're very popular, and they're presumably pretty good, but I really don't know what I'm going to be doing with these. I figured I will probably just use them on the chatterbaits, but maybe they end up on my jigs as well, depending on how well the Super Chunks fare. 2 chatterbaits. Now I got these Z-Man chatterbaits right there. Again, I've heard pretty good things about them. They seem to be a pretty good brand. I'm sort of new to fishing, so I'm still sort of working out which brands are kind of reputable and which brands aren't, and where people put their faith. But these apparently are pretty good. I got these in the 3/8 ounce size. I figured that was a pretty good size. I normally typically like 1/2 ounce, but I got them in 2 colors. I'm trying to read where the colors are. So this is a black blue, obviously. Oh, this is a candy craw. This is the candy craw green. It's kind of like a dark green. I like it. It's got some sort of like green purple flakes. So I'm happy with that. It looks good. I've never used a chatterbait before. I imagine they act pretty similar to a swim bait, just sort of like reeling them back in. But we'll see. I mean, I'm getting used to all this new stuff, so we'll see how it fares. Anyway, what should we go to next? I'm pretty new to the whole jigging game, right? I personally am not very successful with jigs, and I throw a jig out almost every time I go fishing, and have had very little success. I guess I'm maybe not utilizing them properly, or even maybe throwing them into the right types of cover, but I'm trying to. I'm really trying to, because I know jigs are very successful for other fishermen. But anyway, I decided to get these Strike King, what are they called? Bitsy flip jigs in black. I have about 4 1/2 ounce jigs in green pumpkin. These 2 are in black. They're about 3 1/8 ounce, just a little bit smaller, a bit more of a finesse jig than my other jigs. I preferably wanted darker colors. I like the visibility of the dark colors, especially black, to sort of pair with the green pumpkin when there's a bit more water clarity. So I can kind of like rotate between the two. If there's not enough water clarity, I can sort of rely on these guys, but if there is, I can go back to my green pumpkins and stick to natural colors. So anyway, these 2 guys actually I think were really goddamn cheap. Where were they? Yeah, $1.79 on sale each. So the total for those 2 was $3.58, which is pretty good for 2 little jigs. Sadly, they're not made in America, which I'm just noticing on the back. They're made in Costa Rica. I don't know if the build quality is going to be affected by that, but typically I do prefer buying American. I know that's kind of jingoistic to some people, but that's just kind of the way I am right now. So, but anyway, we'll see how they fare. All right, so the next thing we're going to go to is these micro spinners. I like a lot of things. I have very little familiarity with these, very little experience. I've got one there in like I don't know, that's probably like a Chatterbait green or something maybe. Fortunately, it doesn't say on the package what color it is. Okay, this is a Grasshopper. I guess like some kind of Grasshopper green. I like that little gold blade, which is really nice. This is in a 1/4 ounce. Now another one. This is just in like a pearl white. Again, 1/4 ounce. And then the final and third one I have in a, I think it's a just black, right? Yeah, it's just black. 1/4 ounce. I'm not entirely sure how to work these guys. Probably treat them. I mean, just looking at them, I mean, I mean, this might be wrong, and please just take shots at me if I am wrong about anything. I don't mind. But I would maybe consider using these like jerk baits and just snapping them through the water. Try and just get a reaction strike to the movement and to those vibrating blades. But I do like them. And I feel as though I can target different species with these, which is part of the reason why I bought them. I figured if I ever wanted to go trout fishing, I know absolutely nothing about rainbow trout, so don't even get me started on that. But I figured if I ever did want to go trout fishing, these are more in line with like the fly fishing gear that I've seen other people use. Obviously I don't have any fly fishing gear, I don't have a fly fishing rod or reel, so I'd have to kind of make it up as I went along with my spinning gear. So I figured these kind of looked, I mean, I don't know, maybe I'm totally wrong, but they looked like they could probably do the job. They were really cheap actually, they were on sale. Everything was on sale. But these were really knocked down. I think they were like $1. Yeah, they weren't actually that cheap. They were $2.79, and I actually remember these. So originally, these were all knocked down to $1. But like everybody else, when there's a sale on, whether it's Amazon, Basspro, or whatever, I put shit in my cart and then I just like look at it for 2 or 3 days and I'm like, should I buy this? Should I not buy this? And then by the time I actually pulled the trigger, these guys went back up to their full price. But at one time they were on sale for $1. So all sizes, I mean, you know, the 1/8 ounce, the 1/6 ounce, and the 1/4 ounce were all $1 each. Unfortunately, they were about $2.79 by the time I pulled the trigger. But again, I just like the look of them. I like the look of them. Right, next up, I got some poppers, which I've actually, the only reason I bought these, and I'm not going to talk trash about them because I really have heard good things about poppers, but the major reason I did buy these is because I got talking to one of my colleagues at work he's been bass fishing a lot longer than I have, probably most of his life, and he just was talking about them, and he had a good, you know, good review of a popper, and I thought, okay, I've never really heard of them, I'll try them out. They look a little bit like jerkbaits, and I imagine the action for them is very similar to jerkbaits. I wonder if they dive. It doesn't really say on the package. I got one here. I think this is in like a... Let's go through the colors actually. So on the... okay, so on my left is the Tennessee shad. So this one. Then in the middle we've got the yellow perch. And then on the far right we have the white pearl. These guys were about $1.97 on sale, so that's pretty good going for me, I think. I've never used a popper before. Fairly limited in my knowledge of them. I mean, they look like jerkbaits. I'm sure they don't act like jerkbaits, but I imagine I could use them like a jerkbait if I wanted to. But I'm going to probably do a little bit more research. I'm going to try and find... There's a couple of these baits, like the chatterbaits and these, where I really probably need to watch a couple of videos before I rig them up, which is fine. I mean, I'm still learning, so, you know, shoot me. I don't know what this popper is, okay? But anyway, I got 3 of those. They were really cheap. I'm happy with them. They look cool. Awesome. Right, next up, I got jerkbaits. Jerkbaits! Because I really fucking like jerkbaits. I actually lost my favorite jerkbait. I don't know, was it maybe a week or 2 ago I lost it on the waterfowl sanctuary? Yeah, I just ended up losing a jerkbait, so I've got 2 more. As these are more of a backup, but I do like the colours of them. They're floaters, which I'm hoping means they're more of a top water jerkbait. I don't think they're deep diving like my other one. So on this one, I think this is what have we got here? So we got like an olive shad on the left. My left, and then a ghost shad, which is actually, it does kind of look like a pearl white, but it actually is pretty see-through. So I'm not sure how that will fare, but I mean, it looks kind of cool. Same with this one. Now I've heard a lot of things about jerkbaits. I've heard that when you're dealing with inexpensive ones, and these very much were inexpensive. They were about $3.19, which is fairly cheap for a jerkbait. I've heard that you need to take the treb hooks off them and replace them immediately. Personally, I'm going to test that theory for myself. If I land something with this and it bends the hook, so be it. I'll buy new treb hooks. If it doesn't bend the hook, and if essentially if I can get some mileage out of these hooks, and I'd rather do that than just immediately assume that these hooks are terrible. And I imagine imagine you guys out there are like, the hooks are garbage, change. But honestly, I'm gonna try them out. I'm one of those kind of guys. Like, I like to try things out for myself. Typically before I make decisions like that. So yeah, those are my 2 jerkbaits. And then finally, I got 2 crankbaits. I've got these XPS, Basspro. Everything in this order was actually, aside from Zoom and the jigs, I believe everything is, and the Z-Man Chatterbaits, everything else is just Basspro's own brand. So right here I've got 2 crankbaits. These are lipless crankbaits. So These are rattle shads. They got a nice little, they got those ball bearings in the center of them to make that nice little rattling sound. This one is a fire crawdad, and I believe this one is a emerald shad. As you can see there, if you want to get the colors. I like this guy a lot, this guy on the right. I don't have any sort of like vivid red striking baits like that. I typically, as I said before, I do typically normally stick to natural colors, but I just love the vivid colors of it. It just looks so enticing. And I'm sure that I'll get some reaction strikes on it. Obviously this guy is more typically, you know, your natural colors, your natural shad, like emerald green, with, you know, the silver underbelly. But that's fine, that's kind of typical. But this guy, as soon as I saw this guy on sale, I was like, oh my god, I've got to buy that. So yeah guys, this is a lot of stuff to prepare me for the spring. So I really am hopeful that this will basically last me for most, if not all the spring, most of the spring. I don't really feel the need to buy anything else. I think in the next coming weeks I'm probably going to get back out on the water. I'm thinking tomorrow I'm probably either going to go back to 4 Mile Run, the Waterfowl Sanctuary, or possibly try up a new spot. But anyway, as always guys, it has been a pleasure. I appreciate you stopping by watching this kind of shitty unboxing video, but if it gave you, you know, a couple minutes of entertainment, then that's basically what it was created for. So again, thank you for stopping by. Take care. Thanks.